Hello and welcome to Comic Solving Problems. I'm N Allen.
And I'm Erich McElroy. Good evening.
Hello. Welcome along. It's a live streaming comedy show where we find the problems in the news by looking at the news. You can send them to them as well. And we then solve the problems. And if we don't solve the problems, it doesn't matter because we have a laugh anyway.
Hey. There we go.
I'm trying to be positive about it. I mean, that's as positive as it came across. Go, who cares? And that apathy is where I store all my positivity these days. Yes, it's the place where we two comedians, us two, even though we don't have gigs these days. So are we comedians?
No.
If a comedian dies on his arse in the woods and no one's there to hear it, is that technically an allowed gig? I don't know, and if so, who books it? I would like to do that, please. You can send us the problems wherever you're watching this. You should be able to send some messages in the chat. Plus, you got the thing on the screen. You could subscribe to the YouTube channel to make sure you catch this twice weekly show. And if you're enjoying it right now, if you think this looks like this is going to be my entertainment, spread the link, share it, tweet it, share it on Twitch if that's the thing. Facebook it and other social medias. Let's get some eyes pointing in the direction of these solutions that we're going to find. And I think that's pretty much it for getting ourselves facing in the right direction.
Yeah, it's exciting because we're here as well. This is part of the Brighton Festival too, so that makes it extra special. So we're doing just normal, and then it's festival. So it's a festival show.
Hello,
that makes it
Brighton.
We're solving the problems of Brighton.
They don't have any problems down in Brighton, do they? That's why people move down there.
Southern trains.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that. We ain't going to solve that today. The show's not that
touch
long.
That one. That is the third rail of comic solving problems.
Yeah.
Southern trains.
Brilliant stuff. Right. So in terms of problem one, what's the first one you got for us, Eric?
Steve, it's a lighthearted problem to kick us off today. It is the problem of the end of the world.
Great.
Yep. It's coming. So later on, because we're doing this on Thursday, tonight is the final debate in the presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. So we have that to look forward to. I'm going to be staying up all night to watch it, which is my own personal problem. And the stakes are very high for Trump because he's way down in the polls. He's struggling even with the Electoral College advantage that he had last time. And he didn't do very well in the last debate. If you remember, here's a little clip of that.
Would you like me to condemn? White supremacists and right Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
It didn't go very well.
Yeah.
I feel bad using that clip. I don't know. Is it too soon? But the bottom line is Trump doesn't really need to debate, or he doesn't need to debate. He doesn't need to worry. Trump doesn't have any problems with all this. And that is because we know who's going to win. And that's because we've been listening to Televangelist Pat Robertson, and he has this prediction.
Well, here goes. I want to share with you. I was praying on Sunday saying, God, please tell me how it's going to happen. And I hope I've got the word. But first of all, I want to say without question, Trump is going to win the election.
Oh.
Yep. That's right, Steve. You heard it here first. God hates us. Divine providence has said that's the way it's going to be. Doesn't matter how many things he grabs or how many debates he implodes on, and this is coming from Pat Robertson, who's the guy who knows that the gays cause hurricanes. So he's telling the truth.
Oh, is he the one? Okay.
He's one of them. I don't know. He says one of these things. I don't know. But he does have a vision. Not only does he know that Trump's going to win, but he knows what it's going to look like after Trump wins.
After Trump is sworn in, we're going to see civic disobedience in our America that will just be mind-boggling. The country will be torn apart.
What a positive agenda to make America great again. Pat's putting forward there, because apparently America was great during the Civil War. He's basically, the slogan is vote for Trump because the country will be fucked. But he doesn't just stop there. Pat takes it a little bit further.
But there will be at least 2 attempts on the president's life.
Yep, 2 attempts on the president's life. Now, a lot of people have said to me, like, "What? You got guns in America. Why don't you just take Trump out? Wouldn't that solve all the problems?" And the answer is no. I will not endorse the assassination of the president because it's illegal and I would get arrested, but also because everyone is armed in America. If someone took a shot at Trump, everybody would be going at each other because it's America. Even the left has guns. The right has guns. It would be horrific, right? It's hard to explain because, even if people don't, it would just tear America apart. And, I have thought a few times living in the UK all these years. Like, what would happen if someone took a shot at the prime minister in this country? Exactly. That's the reaction of British people.
Yep.
Little raised eyebrows, a little bit of a thought. And I know you're sitting there thinking, Steve, does that mean we get a bank holiday? You guys don't give a shit. One of the few things that keeps you together. Right. So we got the country torn apart, riots, assassination attempts. Maybe could it get any worse?
The only thing that'll fulfill what the word of Jesus, that I'm going to give you in a minute, is some kind of an asteroid strike on the globe. It's sudden destruction.
I mean, I'm sorry, Pat, but Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? Assassinations, riots, asteroids. I mean, now you've just taken things too far. I thought that can't possibly be true. And then I saw this.
Famed astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson says an asteroid the size of a refrigerator could hit Earth the day before the November election.
Oh my God. I mean, maybe that's the only thing that will stop it from happening. Whatever. I mean, I just think, is this what's... And then, but when I heard that about the asteroid, and I thought, looking at the shriveled husk that Pat Robertson has become, I thought, wait a minute. Maybe he knows something we don't, because I kind of recognize something about Pat, and I saw this.
What the word of Jesus, that I'm going to give you in a minute, is some kind of an asteroid strike on the globe. It's sudden destruction.
He looks like the guys from Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
Did you notice there when the Mars Attacks guy says, when Pat Robertson's saying the asteroid, that the Martian goes like this?
How many hours did you spend editing that?
30 minutes.
Yeah, that's what we do on the show. We spend many.
And I'm pointing it out because it's so subtle. Did you notice that?
No.
There you see, nobody. But we know. That's the craftsmanship that goes into this show, ladies and gentlemen. We find the old clips. We find asteroid.
Beautiful.
You can go back, watch it on YouTube over and over again, because that's what I've done.
I must admit, that's the first time I'd seen any of his clips, and if I'd have watched that, not realizing what was happening, when he gets to talk about assassination attempts on the president, asteroids, it just seems like he's in a movie pitch meeting. Kind of, I got a great idea. When I first started in showbiz, this will sell. So he's got that kind of vibe, although I do love the idea of an asteroid the size of a fridge, because if it looks like a fridge, it will distract Trump. He'll see that just land. Wait a minute, I need to go in here, and it's a good outcome. That will be one of the assassination attempts. Also, did we find out if any of those assassination attempts worked? Because he just said people will try. Didn't say if anyone would succeed. Only one of them can succeed, I guess.
Yeah, COVID tried. That didn't work. And plus, we don't know, when we say refrigerator, I mean, he's American. So, I mean, if he's talking about a British fridge, nobody's even going to notice. But if it's an American fridge freezer with the ice cup machine in there, and then the 2 doors and all that delicious food and jars of pickles.
How's that obesity working out for Americans?
It's fine. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I've got put on a few pounds in COVID, all right?
Fair enough. Yeah.
Let it go.
Look, the message boards are open for anything on this as well. We can get stuck into some of the messages. Chris Curling says, evening, chaps. Evening, Chris. Mark says, hello. Glad you're back. Yeah, we're back in instead of the Brighton Fringe best of, let's get into the news over the last few months. This is today's topical stuff. Mark also says, if a comedian dies on his arse in the woods, it'll become a Channel 5 series. And I am available. I'm available for that
They're
work.
all available now. I just, whenever I see someone post available gigs on the forum, I'm like, why are you doing that? There's comedy forums where people advertise gigs. I'm like, we're all free.
We're all over, We're all available.
All free.
I love it though when I'm already booked for one. Like, I've had an email about a Friday gig, and it happened, and I had to double check that the Friday gig I was booked for hadn't been cancelled because I don't trust anything. But I actually got to say, sorry, I'm already working that evening. Oh, it's felt foreign to my mouth. Strange.
One evening a year is good.
Yeah. Have you seen? So there's a message that I don't know if you want to try and read this out. Watching the show here in Noarlunga, South Australia. Wally and Cynthia and Dingo, and we have our pet kangaroo Donald. Nice.
Okay, cool. I'm trying to figure out which end of the chat I'm on. I can't figure out where the bottom is because it's got all the old chat in here, so I can't tell.
You're always on the new ones. Yeah.
I'm lost. So
I can catch you up to where you can see probably. Chris says, will Pat Robertson last until the election? I think there's a strong chance he's not even still alive because he's, He could be the heaven correspondent. He's got that vibe about him.
Yeah, he's 90.
Yeah.
He's 90 years old. So he's been predicting the end of days for a lot of days.
Yeah. And, he's so old that if he actually sees a fridge, opens the door, if he saw a light, he'd walk towards it. So he's got that kind of vibe going on.
Because the fridges in America are big enough that you think this is a gateway to heaven.
Imagine that. Where's Pat? He's in the fridge again. He's in the fridge shouting something about St. Peter. Honestly, that guy.
Yeah.
Some more messages. Do you know what? We can keep going through the messages. Wherever you're watching this, you should be able to watch. Lynn Brown says, it's a twig gig. Is that if we die on our arse in the forest? There is a strong chance we should go and actually film an outside gig in a forest, Eric. It's catching on.
We could do. I mean, it's kind of the way it'd be like going to certain promoters' gigs where you get dropped off in the middle of nowhere. And
do you know what? I'll take those gigs as well now. Yeah, wherever you're watching this, you can send the messages, and if you're enjoying it, chuck some money in the pot. It will help to keep this project afloat, which we desperately need. Also, keep sharing it, and I think we're up to date. So, shall I crack on with another one?
Yes, I think it's your problem, Steve.
Here's the problem. It's the tier system. It's people who struggle with it. Now, I think it can best exemplify. I was going to try and find who'd gone into which tier right now just to work out who this is good for. But this is my favourite tier-related story. There's one village it's in Yorkshire. It's got a problem because it's split between two tiers. And it just goes to show how complicated this tier system is. And it wasn't meant to be. It's meant to get easier. Boris Johnson said he would rely on the common sense of the British public. And it's not gone well.
Yeah.
And I was thinking today, I remember when it was William Hague saying, what we need is a common sense revolution. And that worked out well, didn't it? So you'd imagine by now you should realise the only common sense thing to do is presume that no one has common sense. And that's why they started to try and make the rules easier to understand. And now we have this tier system. So what I thought I'd do is I would help you understand the tier system. Solving problems. So let's start with the concept. It's a 3-tier system. The lowest one, is that called low? Nope, it's called medium. Now, that's an odd place to start because I thought medium should be in the middle of something. I even looked it up. The definition is about halfway between two extremes. So you can't really start something at medium, having that on the low end. This is like they put Costa Coffee in charge. It's really, if they think you can just start off with medium, the government would ruin fairy tales.
Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin. Once upon a time, Goldilocks went into the woods and fucked over one bear. The end.
It's quicker, I suppose.
It's harsh.
Yeah.
It's harsh.
So look, the low end of the scale is too confusing. Let's go to the other end. Right at the top. Is the top level called high? No. Tier 2 is called high. The very top level is called very high. Now this it makes it even more confusing, but I can kind of understand what they're trying to do by having it, because you can't call the low level low, because people will go, oh, it's low, and they wouldn't worry. So you've got to scare people. But if you're going to do that, why not go the whole hog? Why not call the lowest level very high, the medium level pretty damn high, and then the top level, we'd all stay indoors. We're saving lives. I don't know why they're not listening to us, Eric. The title for the tiers is too confusing. Instead, let's just look at the numbers. Here we are. We can bring up the little graph here. So, if you tabulate the tiers, in the number 1 position is tier 3. In the number 3 position is tier 1. Has that made it any easier? Don't worry. Tier 2 is still in the number 2 position. That's how symmetry works.
There we go.
That's because it's medium in comparison to those, but it's not medium. That's the bottom one. It's actually high. So let's look. Now you understand which tier you're in. Let's look to see what kind of rules we're dealing with. Tier 1, normal rules. They could have called it normal, and that just would have been too easy. So of course they're not going to do that. Tier 2 has extra rules. You're not allowed to meet up indoors with any other families. And that has already led to a 400% increase in people buying patio heaters and fire pits. And I love this because it's so nice to already know what Greta is going to moan about next year. That seems like the story that I can't wait to happen. So what else is in the rules of tier 2? Well, you're not allowed to have sex with someone you don't live with indoors. But you can still have sex outdoors. So if you've recently bought an outdoor heater, you might have to waft away more than just wasps. You dirty pockets, get out of it. If you're currently living in Tier 3, no one knows what you're allowed to do. I'd say go to a library to look it up, but you can't. So that is me trying to explain the simplified system that we all need to stick to. And if we all stick to those rules, somehow it will still get worse. I think I've solved it.
I mean, if they're concerned with people having sex indoors, they should just encourage more people to get married.
Yeah, well, maybe they do. Yeah.
Pretty much solved it for us.
Look, Chris Curling says boost for the dogging fraternity.
I know, I never really thought of, I mean, the appeal of dogging never really was there for me until now. Although I am married, so I can have sex indoors.
We had it as I did it in a previous show, a list of people breaking crimes, and I put doggers quite low because it's outdoors.
Yeah.
Handshakers are worse than doggers, in my opinion.
That's right. So as long as you have sex, just don't shake hands.
Imagine that a dogging meet. I presume they're called that, a dogging meet, and afterwards, thank you very much. Oh, you bastard.
You do the elbow touch. Can you get someone off that way? Anyway, I can see some comments now. Mark said it would have to be a convertible car, but it can't be indoors. There you go.
Yeah.
You can't be in the car. Yeah, it's definitely got to be on the hood, in the boot.
And Utah 1 says, if you want a gig in the woods, I hear some teddy bears having a nice picnic. I would, again, willingly take that gig because that would be the biggest audience I've played to for a long while.
Yep, that would be.
Do you know what tier you're in, by the way?
We're in Tier 2.
Really?
Yes, because we're Greater London. Yeah.
Okay. Down here in the Gravesham area, Tier 1. Yeah.
Wimp. Got to lean into it.
Yeah.
Get in there.
I think that means I'm allowed to. Well, it's something like I can go to a restaurant and pubs can stay open. And there's a really weird thing about Tier 3 where a pub can stay open if it's only serving a substantial meal.
Yeah. What is that?
Which it's got to have. I honestly don't know if this is true or not, but I heard someone on the news saying it's got to have chips. But that can't be the definition. I know most of the Tier 3 places are in the north, so that will be true. But it can't be a rule that the only thing that makes a substantial meal substantial is chips.
I think it means 3 packets of crisps.
That means we could gig indoors as long as we cooked people a meal and didn't make them laugh, which is doable.
I think in Tier 3 also, the comedy clubs have been allowed to stay open, but they have to serve a substantial meal, and they cannot serve alcohol.
That's going to go well.
Yeah, and I know you're not the biggest drinker in the world, Steve, but do you really want to perform to a sober audience?
No, that's right. I rarely drink, but I'm grateful that other people do. That's why I'm not evangelical about not drinking. I want other people to be slightly disadvantaged.
That's right. Yeah. Definitely. So, yeah, I mean, it is. I think it's going well. I think that's pretty much
the biggest joke of the show so far. It is such a mess. Look, if you got any messages on this, any comments... Tears for Fears, says Lynn. Loving it.
Nice.
I can't believe I made it all the way through that bit and didn't do a tears pun. Thank heavens you're there, Lynn. Keep some messages coming through on this. And if you're enjoying it, you could subscribe. There should be a link somewhere near this. And it would very much help pay for the crisps that will make this a substantial meal.
Yes. Not salt and vinegar.
That's a different phone.
Some of the prawn flavors. I mean, that would be a good. We haven't done a proper quiz for a while. We should do a quiz at some point about what's the most disgusting flavor of British crisps.
Prawn cocktail. Yeah.
With the steak ones.
At least they're just vaguely meaty, whereas prawn cocktail. Do you know what's weird? Prawn cocktail and tomato ketchup flavor crisps almost taste the same. Something's gone wrong. And also, I know we don't want to. Paprika, says Mark. No,
that's true.
Too much, too fiery.
We've never lived in Germany. Everything's paprika. The women are paprika.
Oh, that's gonna sting. But little side point. I learned a fact recently while we're doing nerdy facts. The reason why banana flavored things don't taste like banana. Do you know what it is?
No.
Back in the day when these chemical substitutes for flavors were invented, there were more than one different types of banana. because there were different ranges. So they picked a banana that tasted nice. They made the chemicals taste like it. Since then, that banana's died out. So we've never eaten one of those bananas. So bananas don't taste like banana flavor. So if you want to know what the old bananas used to taste like, eat one of those banana things that you think this is nothing like it, and you're getting a glimpse of the past.
Wow.
Fact.
That is one of the most useless facts I've ever heard.
I apologize for taking up your time to say that. Anyway, solve some
ancient
problems.
bananas. Right. Okay. On to my next problem. And this is a problem of what happens when you miss the last president of the United States. Do you remember Barack Obama?
Oh, I thought you were going to go for George W. Bush. Okay.
No. To be fair, at this point, I would take him. I would take any of them. Nixon seems like a really ethical guy at this stage. I mean, Barack Obama, he's like, listening to him is like a soothing balm on a chafing rash. It's so nice. I mean, look, he spoke last night in Philadelphia. Here's a little taster.
America is a good and decent place, but we've just seen so much noise and nonsense that sometimes it's hard for us to remember.
I remember. Oh, and I'm getting hard. It is. I mean, just listening to him, he's cogent. He's got a vision. He can. I mean, he was really fired up. You could tell he's been holding all this back, because normally past presidents trying to keep a lid on it and try and be respectful. But after all these years of abuse that Trump is putting it his way, he was just letting it rip last night, and he came out firing.
Our democracy is not going to work if the people who are supposed to be our leaders lie every day and just make things up.
Is he talking about the British government now? I'm not really sure who he's referring to anymore. Has he met Boris Johnson? Talked about the lies. Went after Trump on COVID and the fact that they've ignored the plans that were put in place by the Obama administration.
We literally left this White House a pandemic playbook that would have shown them how to respond before the virus reached our shores. They probably used it to, I don't know, prop up a wobbly table somewhere. We don't know where that playbook went.
We can only hope that's the worst thing that happened to that playbook, because I have a suspicion that Melania rolled it up and beat Trump with it. I wouldn't touch it now, is what I'm saying. He went after news that broke just this week that Trump apparently has a bank account in China.
We know that he continues to do business with China because he's got a secret Chinese bank account.
Wow. I mean, a president of the United States to have a Chinese bank account, I mean, that's just unfathomable. Plus, I mean, it makes you wonder how he would even access that bank account. And then I remembered this.
President Trump played this video of his 6-year-old granddaughter who is learning Mandarin from her Chinese nanny for the Chinese president.
He's clearly teaching her Chinese so that he can get access to that account. Can't remember the password.
She has to just learn the Chinese for password 1. That's all she needs.
Mega 2020 exclamation point. That was the password for Trump's Twitter account until yesterday. Someone hacked it. True story. Barack couldn't believe that Trump had a Chinese bank account, and he imagined what would have happened if he'd had one.
Can you imagine if I had had a secret Chinese bank account when I was running for re-election? You think Fox News might have been a little concerned about that? They would have called me Beijing Barry.
He's cracking little jokes there. He's bringing some jokes. Now, the good thing is if they found out Barack Obama did have a Chinese bank account, they would stop saying that he was born in Kenya. They'd be he's looking a little Chinesey to me. Now, Beijing Barry, that's not a bad name. I tried to think about what other, because when he wrote the speech, he must have gone through other names they could have called him, and I thought probably the only other one I could come up with was that wasn't racist, was Barack Hussein Sauce.
Nice. Yeah.
You like that?
I like that.
Barack Hussein Obama, Barack Hussein Sauce, because of the Hussein. It's Hussein, I think. Hussein.
Yeah, the only one I can think of now, but it wouldn't have worked at the time, would be Bat Rack Obama. Just link him to bats, but back then no one really worried about bats.
Yeah, Trump knew. But his final message from the former president was probably the most important.
We've got to vote and then get some change, and then vote some more, and then get some more change, and then keep on voting until we get it right.
Now, that is true. That is the way we're going to win this election, is if you do vote. However, you can only vote once. So I want to make that very clear based on what the president was saying. He means vote on multiple elections. If you vote 3 times, you will not only will your ballots get thrown out, but you will get arrested. So don't do that.
Because it did sound like advice of multiple voting and topping up a parking meter.
Yeah, there is an old Chicago saying that is vote early and vote often, but that's not what we're asking for here. Just get out and vote. I have to say, watching him speak, I think, well, all of the majority of Americans, we all felt like this.
Terms, and there will be difficult days along the way. From the extremism of those who would use democracy to deny minority rights.
I figured going with that clip from Fleabag was better than me demonstrating how I felt.
I agree.
I didn't want to do a Giuliani.
I concur.
That way.
Yes, I think.
I didn't want to lean back and tuck in. Not on camera anyway.
No, I have to sit here and watch the same clips that you play out, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem.
Well, so yeah, I mean, it is amazing to see the difference between the two.
Yeah.
I tell you what feels odd when you watch Obama rather than Trump is you get to hear sentences end. It's really weird. It's like it feels almost scripted that they start and they were like verbs and nouns and stuff, and then there's an end to it and you're done. It's very strange.
And it was weird listening to that speech. It was about 40 minutes. He didn't mention Hillary's emails once.
Oh, really?
Do you understand?
Let's have a look. Some of the messages coming through. Mark says Obama is a string quartet and Trump is 4 kids with recorders. We've got plenty of names for Trump, says Chris, and
she had an itch, says Mark.
Nice.
Yeah,
Is
she
that
did.
what was going on? I didn't quite understand.
Obama scratches that itch.
Didn't Dawn sing "Vote 3 times" or was it "Knock 3 times"? Nice. Actually, I'm glad you're sending these messages. At some point, we will get around to doing Keith's idea. In the comment section, we should be doing songs for lockdown, and we could do them for the election as well. We just forget to prep it because we're so busy doing all the other stuff. But yes, keep watching every Tuesday and Thursday, and we'll get around to doing suggesting songs that go with the news stories that we're dealing with. I like the idea of that. Yep, keep the messages coming through. Our Twitter things are on screen as well, so I've not checked Twitter yet.
Yep, I can check Twitter as well. And if you put it up there, if you're liking what we do, you can feel free to throw us a drink.
Would be appreciated. Lovely, lovely. So, there is another problem to solve.
Oh, another problem? I thought how are there any left?
I thought about, what should we do? Should we talk Trump? Should we talk Trump dancing? That was quite big fun news. Should we talk about COVID? And I thought, my sweet God, I'm sick of the same damn stories. So instead, I managed to find a more serious issue, and this is the news story of a plane passenger who was caught smuggling gold nuggets in the rectum to avoid taxes.
What?
Right up the old fruit chute. So, there's much to unpack about this story, is a phrase we often use, but it's never been more true than when you've got a man with 2 pounds of gold up his a-hole. Now, I think we can zoom in. This is the gold that was up there. Now, I think that's a bit flat.
I hope it's been washed.
I would look. I mean, look, I don't want to teach you how to suck eggs in the world of anal gold here, but I probably would have put those 3 together and made them more cylindrical, but with a rounded edge end. So I think you know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you're gonna smuggle gold, you'd make yourself a gold dildo, wouldn't you? If you're gonna smuggle it, you might as well enjoy the experience. And here's what I realised. I thought, why has he done it like that? 3 of the big ones and then that small one. Because, you know, I started to wonder whether my bottom's the right shape, if that's what you can do with it. But I realised, apparently, he didn't want to pay the 18% tax. Now, no one likes paying tax, but I've never put anything up my bum to try and get a discount. Put it that way. I think the little one was probably, he thought, if I get caught, I'll just poo out that one. There you go, 18%, ding, and then carry on. How could you not expect to get caught in a metal detector? Like, cram it up none of it makes sense. My favourite bit of the story is apparently the authorities caught him because he was walking funny. You would, because you'd be nervous, but you can't fart, because if you do, you could lose 10 grand. Well, I mean, it's just one of my favourite stories for ages. Guy smuggles gold up the bottom. I think it's so good. I'm trying to write a film based on it, and I'm going to call it The Man with the Golden Bum.
Nice.
Seems like a good title. I've already made the intro. Have a look. He's got an arse full of metal. He's worried his ring piece will drop. His ass weighs close to a ton. The man with the golden bum. Cramming it up nature's pocket. He's got many ingots up there. Getting it back won't be much fun. The man with the golden bum. It's in his bum. His ass is done. His golden bum. Man with a golden bum.
Well done.
On reflection, I realised if I could go back and redo that sketch, the only thing I would have done is when you get the blurred out, I should have made it brown, not red. That just would have been...
I think red is an appropriate color for that occasion.
I think it could be.
To be honest. I mean, that's definitely... He's going to be thinking he ate beetroot for a while.
Ting! Another nugget. Wow.
So many different shapes you could have gone with. You're right. I mean...
The flat one's wrong, isn't it? You don't...
But I mean, we don't have something to scale them. Maybe they were only like the biggest one was maybe this big and the little one was... We don't have a scale of the tray that they were on. So maybe they were much smaller. But balls, I mean,
it just seems they look like tongue depressors. Why would you do it in that shape unless you're trying to leave a bigger gap?
Do you stack them up on top of each other, or do you all as one go?
One at a time. It'd reach your duodenum.
He'd realize he had it there because it was coming out of his mouth.
You got a golden tooth? No, I just pushed too hard.
That is the story we need now. More inspiring than anything Brock could say.
Some of the messages, let's have a look. There we are. Chris, gold-plated council gritter. Right up the council gritter. The reboot of the quiz Going for Gold doesn't look any good.
Nice.
Let's have a look. Shades of North says, that's the strangest thing I've heard of, bar none.
Nice.
Yeah, loving it.
No, you getting compliments on the method there? Well, was it really method? That was all digital effects. Acting there. I mean, the walking with the gold in the bum. Because, that's the thing we need to know. How much did it weigh? So that is going to have an impact. I mean, I don't know if the phrase I've heard about putting a ring on it. Anyway.
I'm saying that. But, 2 pounds of gold.
An extra 2 pounds. I carry that right here. Maybe this is all gold. Maybe that's what this is.
Terry's all gold right there.
All gold.
Maybe they stretched on removal, says Chris. So the theory is that actually they were shorter, but as you pulled them, because gold is a malleable metal. It's also ductile, I believe. So
Because how hot does it? I don't think body temperature is enough to make gold melt, though, is it?
No, but it is a soft metal because of the way the valence electrons can just pass over each other.
No one wants to know why, Steve.
It's a good conductor. Like copper and silver. It's the same on Mendeleev's periodic table. It's the same column.
Oh, dear.
I'll never look at Golden Grahams the same again, says Mark.
Yeah, 2 pounds worth.
2 pounds worth of right up the old.
Yeah. There we go.
That's my favourite. It doesn't matter what's happening in any other piece of news. A man who tried to smuggle some gold right up gentleman's pocket.
There's got to be an easy way to make a living. Although these days, the way gigs are going, who's booking it, Steve?
Yeah, God, imagine that. He'll have a mask on, but he's got his gold hanging out at the end. He's got his ingot touching cloth. Well,
right. Well, I think we're getting towards the end, aren't we?
Yeah, let's be honest. I spent 4 hours today recording that song and filming myself doing that for 1 minute of the show. So I'm out of material. I got nothing else.
Yeah, and that guy's out of pocket. No, I don't know what the right phrase is. Well, there we go. It was well done. I'm going to compliment you on that. If you thought the show was worth anything, 4 hours of Steve's life right there. If that made you chuckle, feel free to buy us a drink or two. He'll get extra of whatever. Extra for Steve.
Some plasters, a nice cushion is what's needed after that. Because, method acting, so I committed. We never saw that bar again.
Yeah, but we appreciate your support. That keeps us going. And also tell people about the show. So you can share the links to the YouTube channel, get more people to subscribe, do that bell thing, and share it on Facebook and all that kind of good stuff, because the more people watching is fun also. And you can follow both of us on Twitter. I'm going to do a plug. I've got a podcast. We'll plug the podcast if you don't mind, called American Exchange. And you can look on my Twitter feed to see it, or on Facebook and so on. And it's me interviewing people in the States who are movers and shakers, with me trying to figure out what the fuck is going on back home. It's kind of my official catchphrase. I've just recently talked to Joe Walsh, former congressman, Brian Karem, White House reporter, and Olivia Troy, who just resigned from the Trump administration. And I've got some very exciting guests coming up that I can't tell you about, but they're big names. Big ass names.
You'd say that even if you didn't. That's what I like about that.
This is true. This is true. So, although it's the Trump era, I could lie. It doesn't matter. But
Mark's already a listener, apparently, by the looks of it, or a viewer, depending which way you do it.
Thank you very much. All right. Thank you very much, Mark. And but otherwise, I have no gigs. Nothing else in the diary. How about you? Got any gigs coming up, Steve?
Of course not. No, I've got one on the 14th of November, which is when I almost got double booked, and that's it. No, I've got nothing else. Got nothing else to plug, because I spent 4 hours today filming myself in a Bond film. So
I think between now and then you can just make the full film.
Do you know what?
You've got the opening sequence.
Yeah, I did think of doing the full version of the song. I could definitely do that. What would happen in the Bond film, The Man with the Golden Bum?
Well, that scene where he's tied up, where the bad guy's always gonna do something to him. I mean, what worse could he do to him?
Yeah,
he's already had gold shoved up his rectum. Pull it out too quickly.
There'd be some sort of special device inside the gold bar, like an explosive gold bar. Pay attention, 007. This you could have one of those. That'd be good. Yeah, I can play Q. I can play Bond. We've done some Bond sketches before.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, I got a lot of time tomorrow. There is a strong chance that at least a 45-minute version of that film comes out.
You're gonna have to do one scene in a bikini.
Oh God,
you gotta be your own Bond girl, because you can't have anyone to the house.
Yeah, and or I'm tier 1. Maybe I can get away with it.
Oh, you're tier 1,
or 3, whichever one it is. I get confused.
Just everybody's tier 2.
Average it out.
That's fine. That's fine.
Kind of medium. So I think we're all done and dusted. Thank you very much for watching. If you can find the link to throw some money in our pot, it very much helps to pay for the kit and the running this darn thing, and the fact that I've got 17 lights is not as cheap as it was when we started.
No.
So support the show would be very much appreciated, and we're back on Tuesday. I think
we're back next Tuesday, and we'll have a recap of the debate that happens over the weekend, and who knows? I mean, it's God's will. It's God's will.
You never know. The Earth might end because of some sort of an asteroid. Great.
And we know who to blame: the gays.
I mean, that is a clip that someone takes that out of context. Your new podcast is getting taken down.
Yeah, it's not me. Well, I'll get the wrong kind of audience.
Oh,
or the right. I'll get an audience.
Yeah,
oh, never mind.
Till Tuesday, 9:00.
Bye.